Welcome and welcome back. Today we have got the first hour task list guide thing, and it is going to be worth a ton of points and a ton of tasks. Now, before I jump into it, I do want to show you I've got a spreadsheet with all of these tasks as well. That is this thing right here. I'm going to be following along this with myself while I go through this route. You can just follow the video if you'd like, but if you do want the spreadsheet for yourself, I'm going to have that in my Discord, so make sure to join that. And pick up the Leagues role because it's going to be in the Leagues Resources channel. As you come through here, you can complete tasks, and it's just going to slowly tally those up. That's going to stay at the top so you can see both how many points you've got and how many tasks you've completed. You can also, of course, skip things if you come to them and you're like, hey, this really sucks. But I have tried to avoid going through and picking up tasks that have a lot of competition, though I will call it out when we get there. But I think that's enough caveats, so let me hide myself, and I'm going to show you in the game as we walk through this task list. First up, we are going to have opening the Leagues menu and completing the Leagues tutorial. Now, I can't show you this in the main game where I'm standing, but you'll get this as a part of kind of like starting out in Yama's lair. If you're confused, the Leagues menu should be somewhere in here. It's normally where they have it. While you're there, you also want to make sure that you toggle your runoff. That's going to be a task. And then make sure to turn that back on so you're not walking around in the game. But okay, with that slight pause, you will hopefully be pumped out somewhere around right here. We don't exactly know where Yama's going to dump us, but if you are a little bit off of this, I am just standing right here in kind of like the center area where that teleport is going to put you. Now to start, we are going to run our way up to the northwest. We are looking for some attack dummies, which are just right over here. The nice thing about these is as we come up, we'll get ourselves a couple of attack levels, so just keep hitting the dummies. It's going to be really, really fast. Hitting the dummy itself is a task, and then also we're getting our first level up and our first level 5 just off of this thing. Once we're done with that, we are going to run back over here to where we were just standing before, and we're looking for any of the normal citizens. Now, there are quite a few here. I'll go ahead and tag them so it's easy to see. These are going to be your friends for at least a little while. We want to pickpocket these until we've hit a couple of different milestone tasks. So the first thing is we want to make sure that we are level 20 thieving. That should happen pretty quickly. If you fail, it's fine. If you take enough damage where it kills you, it's also fine. You just need to make your way back here and keep at the pickpocketing. It shouldn't take you too long. Now we also want to make sure that we get 28 coin pouches in total. So you're going to be doing this until you get the full stack and it stops you from pickpocketing. Once you've got those 28, you can open them up. It's going to give you 84 coins. We're going to have to do that a couple of times because we need to make sure that we have at least 250 GP before we stop with the pickpockets. I know that is going to be kind of a lot of thieving right at the start. It shouldn't take you too long though because you're getting a lot of XP. Remember, this is going to be 5 times XP, so each successful pickpocket is going to be 40 XP. Ooh, and wow, I can't believe I got a random right here. You want to look out for these because all of the randoms are basically worth 30 points, so definitely do them if one pops up for you. But yes, the goal from these citizens is going to be getting ourselves 250 GP, so we're going to be here for a couple of minutes. There we go. After you have had 3 rounds of 28 coin pouches, that should have gotten you enough money. So that should leave you with, you've pickpocketed a citizen, you've achieved your first level 10, you've opened up 28 coin pouches, you've successfully pickpocketed a citizen 10 times in a row, and you've achieved your first level 20. Now, if you got higher than level 20, that's just bonus points to you. That's going to be fine. Any sort of bonus points that you're getting are going to help you along the way. Now, our first stop, now that we're done thieving, is going to be coming over here. We're going to pet renew this bird, and we're also going to bow in front of the bird. That's going to be a couple of tasks. And then we're going to run up north into the museum over here. We are looking for this statue right here. It's going to be on the southeast side. The statue of, I can't say that. And we are going to want to salute. So now that the statue has been saluted, that was a task. We're going to run our way over to the charter ships down here. And we want to trade one of these charter ship crew members. Now, we don't have a lot of cash, so you do want to be very, very careful about how much you're buying of the stuff. Don't use the shift key if you're used to that. You can even come down here, you can click the quantity button, or you can even just right click. We want to buy, not a chisel, we want to buy one of the shears, and we want to buy one of the knife. That's it. Close it. don't accidentally spend more. We have a tiny bit of room in that GP, but not much. Now, the first sort of contested task that I'm going to put on here is attacking a seagull. We need to kill a seagull for a task. Now, there are a decent number of them running around over here. There is a couple that will like wander down towards the ship, which is great if you can get that one. But since there may be a lot of people doing that, you can come up here to the north and there's a lot more of them. Now, if this is just absolutely swarmed, people are like training on these for some reason, you can skip this task, but hopefully there'll be enough where you're able to actually pick it up, because that's going to be for 10 points. We are going to have another opportunity because as we're done with this, we're going to be running over to the west. We are looking for the port master, which is going to be over here, and you'll see that we're going to pass a couple of seagulls along the way. Now, even though we don't get access to sailing, for some reason, they put Talk to a Port Master as one of the tasks, so we're going to do that. Make sure we've got that one picked up, and now we are going to run over to the Colosseum, which is just a little bit to the south here. Now, we are going to go into the Colosseum lobby, so you're going to run up the stairs. You're going to come in here through the entrance, and then we're going to run either to the north or south. It doesn't really matter. We are just trying to talk to one of the gladiators, and that is going to be a task. Once we're done, we're going to go ahead and leave the Colosseum, and we can stop by the bank if we want. One thing I didn't talk about at the start is we should have all of the starter tools that you typically have with a new account, including a drayman staff. All that you need in your inventory is what I'm showing here. I don't have the bronze tools, but you'll have bronze tools. These are just the equivalent for me. You can get rid of everything else that you have in your inventory if you'd like to. At the bank here, clean it up a little bit. Or you can keep it on you for the run. You do have infinite runs, so it doesn't really matter. Now, we are going to be heading south out of the city here. On our way, if you can chop a tree or two, it would be good. There are a handful of them here. It may be crowded as people are running this path, so if there aren't any trees up, don't worry about it. We're going to have another opportunity here in a minute. As we leave the gates for the city, we are going to be looking for a child that's running around in this area. You can see him over here. We have to cry next to the child. Please don't run away, kid. I need to cry. There you go. That's a task. And we're also going to be looking for some rats running around as well. They're in a couple of different places. So if you can pick one up, you do have to kill a rat as a task. So there's one here. There's one there. Again, we're going to have some more opportunities for it in a second. So if you don't get it here, don't worry about it. We're going to run over to the mace shop. There is an iron mace spawn. Kudos to you if you can pick this up. I think because it's only one spawn, unless they make it basically permanent, you're not going to be able to get it. So go ahead and buy yourself a bronze mace, and make sure to equip that as well. If you missed out on chopping a log earlier, there's a bunch of random trees out here in the savannah, so you can come through and you can chop them down. Ideally, we want to have 3 logs. If you only have 2, that's fine. At this point, we're going to have completed a task for chopping the log. We want to fletch one of them, only one of them, into arrow shafts. That's going to be a task. And we're going to light one on fire as well. That's going to be another task. Once we're done with that, we've got a stolen cabbage over here with some doggies checking it out. And we are going to sit next to the stolen cabbage for another task. Now we're just going to run around this fence over here to the north because we want to kill some chickens. On our way there, we want to pick as much cabbage as we can, and if you miss some rats, there are a couple more in here as well, so that's another opportunity for you if you still need that task. Our goal for the cabbage picking is to get to 6. There's going to be a task associated to that. Now, there may be a lot of people picking cabbage, and this may not have an accelerated respawn rate, so if there aren't a lot of cabbages, just grab whatever you can, and keep track of how many you're doing. There is going to be another cabbage patch on our route, so you'll have another opportunity later. Now, this one may or may not be contested. There's a couple of tasks associated to killing chickens. You can see there is a ton of chickens here, so I think it should be pretty safe. We want to defeat at least 1 chicken, so that I think will be easy enough. And you want to take the bones and the raw chicken as well. Now, if this isn't super slammed, then you want to try and kill 5 chickens with the mace. That's going to be a task. And again, remember to pick up the bones and the raw chicken. You can clear out your inventory if you need to as you're going. Pick up our bones, pick up our bones. We're gonna need 6 of those as well. So get your 5 chickens down. That should be a task for defeating 5 creatures with a mace. I'm gonna drop my arrow shaft so I can pick up a little bit more raw chicken. And I still need one more bone because there's a task for burying 6 bones. So we're going to make sure to get that as well. Quickly bury those while we're here. The nice thing is this is also training you up in your combats. I know it's not going to get you a ton of levels, but that is going to help with some tasks later. Now, do make sure to kill an extra chicken. So right now we're at a count of 7. That is going to allow us to save one of the bones. We're going to need it later. Now that we're done with the chickens, we are going to come here into the little farmhouse and we're going to use the oven. And again, if you haven't killed a rat yet, now's a good opportunity to do it. We want to cook most of the chickens, save 2 of them. Now, I'm hoping that you're going to burn one here. You may get lucky and you may cook 5 in a row. That's actually better for you point-wise, but all we're trying to do is burn 1 chicken. If you get it, great. If you don't worry about it. We're going to have more opportunities for that later. And you should still have 2 raw chickens on you when you're done. We're going to be running up here to the north, and we're going to run around the farm and get ourselves over to the sweet corn over here. You want to pick 1 sweet corn. You can go ahead and drop that one. You can probably drop the chicken as well, the cooked chicken anyway. Keep your inventory a little bit clean. Oh, don't pick the nettles. You're looking to pick an onion. Careful, there are some nettles in here. That'll just do a little bit of poison damage. And we're going to eat the raw onion. That's going to be a task. Then we are going to run over here to the wheat field. We're going to be picking 6 wheat. We only need to keep 1 to make some flour here in a second, but there is a task for picking 6 of them, so make sure to get 6 while you're in the field. You can go ahead and drop 5 of them to keep your inventory a little bit cleaner, and then we're going to run over here to the windmill. Up the ladder we go, up the ladder one more time, and then we're going to have the hopper here. If for some reason you don't have your pot, maybe you accidentally banked it, there is a pot spawn. If there's a bunch of people going for it, good luck, but at least it's there for you if you need it. You're going to put the wheat in the hopper, and then you're going to use the hopper controls. That's going to process it down, and then we're going to climb back down to the bottom floor. Here you're going to be able to empty the flour bin. That should complete a task for us as well. Make some flour, check that one off. And now we're going to be running back into the city. You can empty the flower pot if you want. I don't think we're going to need it. Now we're going to take a turn right here, and we're going to come towards the altar that's here in the city. There's a task for activating a prayer next to an altar. Since we're level 1, we should have a defensive prayer right here. We're going to go ahead and click that to activate it. And then if you end up needing to recharge your prayer at the 1 point, you can do so right there. On our way out of the temple, we're going to pet Zolo. Goodest boy right there. Hello, doggy. And we're going to come to the bird bath. And yes, we do want to drink from it. Going to be disgusting. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You're a little bit poisoned now. Unfortunate. There's actually a chance that you won't have anything happen to you, so maybe you won't be poisoned. And then we are going to be running up to the north to this bar that's over here. Trade the bartender, and again, we want to be really careful about what we're buying. We want to buy ourselves 1 cup of tea, 1 stew, 1 moonlight. We're going to go ahead and drink the moonlight and eat the stew. You can drop that bowl. We're going to trade the bartender 1 more time, and we're going to buy 1 more stew that we're going to save for later. Now we're going to run over here to this pump, and we're going to fill our bucket at the pump. Then you can go ahead and empty it as well. We're not going to need the water right now. And then we are running to the square over here with all of the thieving activities. Now there's 2 things that I want you to grab while we're here, and it might be a little sketchy depending on where the guards are, but we need to steal a piece of bread from the cake stall. Now, if the guard does get on you, because you're pretty low level, he is going to smack. So if you need to, you can run to the south like I'm doing here and de-aggro him. And then you can run back. Now, there are going to be a lot of people in this area, so it may not actually be as bad as it's going to be for me right now, because since it's just me, the guards can really easily get to me. Oh, but there's our bread, so we're good. Get off me, mister. I don't want to die. I've only got 10 HP. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to train your defense a little early on just to make it so he doesn't absolutely smack you. Now, we're also going to run over here to the silk stall, and we're going to steal 1 piece of silk. If you want, you could steal a couple of them just so it's a little extra cash for you later, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's not going to be that much cash. Now, you can't immediately trade him here or the guards are going to attack you. There is a task to sell 1 to him, but we're going to have to come back to it later. Now, we're running over here to the west. We're going to make a quick stop in the clothing store, and we're going to trade this person. We've got 3 things that we're looking for. we want to pick up a brown apron, a red cape, and a blue skirt. Gonna go ahead and put those on. Might be time for another inventory cleanup, actually. Let's drop the bread, drop the cake. We're gonna run around over here, and we are looking for Ollie, the NPC. Should be wandering around. You want to use your stew on him. If you're worried about using it on him, you can also talk to him and say that you want to give him a stew. Either way, that's gonna complete the task, and we're also gonna be using our bones on the dog that's over here. There's a good boy. Enjoy those bones, buddy. Now, with our apron and our raw chicken on our way out of town, we're heading to the west. We're going to be leaving towards the farm over there. There is a range right here. We're going to cook our raw chickens, hopefully, and we should complete a task for cooking something with an apron. If you failed this here, don't worry, we're going to have another opportunity at it later. I've baked a lot of second tries into this run just to make sure everybody gets some of those RNG tasks. Now, as we come up to the farm, we're going to run to the south. And we're looking for the field of potatoes. You could go ahead and drop your chickens. We need to pick ourselves 6 himes in order to complete our task for picking 6 wheat, 6 cabbage, and 6 potatoes. Now, kind of like the cabbage, this may be a little bit crowded. Speaking of cabbage, there's some over there if you still need it. If you can't get to 6 potatoes, it's not the end of the world. It's not like a huge task, but it is going to be nice if you can pick these up, because we don't have a lot of flexibility in this list if you want to get all the way to Karamja. You are going to get yourself pretty easily to tier 2, though, so if you're just here for the relic, then you have way more freedom. Now, as we're done with that, we're going to come north to the farm shop. We're going to buy ourselves 1 rake, and we are going to come over to the flower patch, and we're going to rake that. Once you've got that task completed, we can drop those weeds, we can drop the rake, we're done with it for now. And we are going to milk the dairy buffalo up here using that bucket that we've got. If you've still got water in there, you can empty it out and then milk the buffalo. So don't worry, don't stress. I know there's a lot happening. Now, while we're here, this is another one that may be a contested task, but I did want to call it out because we've got a task for killing a buffalo. Now, the buffaloes, you should be at least fairly well leveled if you were able to kill the chickens earlier. They are a little tougher than cows, so if not, you might have to skip this one because they do a ton of damage. But generally speaking, in a league, they up the spawn rate on this stuff, so I'm not super worried about being able to kill the buffaloes. You can already see there's quite a few of them here, and there were even some a little bit earlier as well, back in this pen over there. So if this is super crowded, you can check there. But I think the respawn on them is going to be really fast, so I think you should be able to at least get 1 while you're here. From there, we're going to be running to the west, and we're looking to shear an alpaca. This is what we needed those shears for at the beginning. And we are going to be hanging on to that wool, so don't drop it. We're going to need it for another task in a minute. Once we're done with the alpaca, we are going to run to the west. We are looking for an NPC called a bard. We're going to dance next to him. While we're running, we can go ahead and find the dance emote, this one right here. And we're getting pretty close. Here's some bards showing up for us. Just gonna come stand in this camp and do a little dance, and that should complete a task for you. Now, while we're here, we're gonna run a little bit to the south to this mine. Now, this is the other really bad contested task. I have a feeling that most of you are gonna have to skip this, but we're gonna try. There's a task for mining 5 tin rocks. Now, much like the buffalo, the respawn rate on these resources should be pretty quick, so you may not have to worry about it too much, but there's only 4 tin rocks in the entirety of Barlamore, and they're all right here. So there's a good chance that people are going to be rushing this. Now, if you can, also pick up a copper while you're here, but we'll have another opportunity for that one later. The tin is going to matter, though. If you can at least get 1, that's going to help you with another task. So if you can't do the 5, try and get yourself 1 of them. And you can go ahead and drop the extra because we only need 1. So with our tin mining expedition completed or skipped, we are going to be running over to Camptorum. It's going to be a little bit of a run, so we'll probably speed this one up for you. And while we do that, you should totally subscribe. Oh my god, subscribe, please. Oh my god. Now keep in mind, you're not going to have the Quetzal over here just yet. So this is why we have to run here, because this is one of the sites that you're going to have to build. Now we should have access to Camptorum already because the quest, Perilous Moons, should be auto-completed for us at the start. So we can just run in here, and we're going to be coming up to one of the first shops that are going to be here on the east as you cross this bridge. Now, because it's a dwarven city, you have to squeeze through the doors, so we're going to go ahead and squeeze in here. Get a fun little animation with that, too. And then we're looking to get both a haircut and a shave. Both of these should be free. We'll confirm that one. Let's get a shave. We'll confirm that one. That should complete 2 tasks for yourself. Now from here, you're going to do your home teleport, which should send you back to Barlamore where we started. Since I don't have that, I'm going to use the Civitas teleport, but that should complete a task for you using the home teleport. Now, once we're back here, we're going to be using the Quetzal, so we're going to run over to the east where Renu is. You're going to go ahead and do travel, and we're going to go to Quetzalcoatl Gorge. That should complete a task, travel using the Quetzal transport system for 10 points. While we're here, we're going to come to this shop, which is right next to the Quetzal, and we're going to buy ourselves an unlit torch, and then we're going to use our tinderbox to light that thing. And then we don't need it, so we can go ahead and drop it. Now, if you missed the cabbage before, there is another chance at cabbage right here, and we're also looking for some rabbits while we're in the area. There's a task for killing 5 rabbits. This one may be contested depending on how many people are at this point. Kill a couple if you can. They will add up over time. There's going to be more in this area, and also make sure to pick up a raw rabbit or 2 while you're at it. Now, we're also going to be picking ourselves 6 flax. There's this flax field here. Luckily, flax is something that is very quick spawning, and you get multiple per spot, so you shouldn't have to worry about it being contested by people. When we're done, we're going to come over to the spinning wheel, and we want to spin a ball of wool. You can also spin your flax if you want a little bit of crafting XP. It's not going to be a huge deal, but it is going to help a little bit later. Once you're done, you can drop the ball of wool, your flax, or your bowstring once you're done with that. And again, we're looking for these rabbits. You want to try and get through 5 of them if you can, because it is a task. And I would recommend, especially if your cooking is kind of low, try to pick up a couple of raw rabbits, but we do have a few more that we're going to pass along the way. So we're going to be running out through this gate, which goes northeast, kind of up towards where Huey Coddle is going to be. And we're going to just follow this path to the northeast towards the shipwreck that's going to be up here on the coast. Now, while you're on the way out here, if you don't have any logs, there are going to be a couple of dead trees that you're going to pass. So you can chop those if you want. There's not a ton of them, so you may not be able to get to them. But hopefully, since we're going to be here for a minute, you will be able to chop at least one of these. There's one here. There's another one over there. That's probably the closest to that you're going to get. I think there's a third one kind of off in that direction, but it's a little far from us. First thing you're going to do while you're here is you're going to inspect the campfire. That's going to be a task. And there are going to be 2 spawns for this big fishing net. While you're here, you do want to try and pick them up. I get it will not be quite as easy for you here as it is for me, but the next thing on our list is going to be doing a little bit of fishing. We've already got our small net. We're saving some of those logs so that we can use them to cook on the fire. We've already got our small net here, so we should be able to just straight go into fishing. And I'm just going to list off the couple of tasks that we're going to do, but keep in mind, this is kind of like one of the breather sections for yourself. Make sure that you're still on track for the list. You're going to be here for at least a couple of minutes. So while you're here fishing, what we're trying to go for is we want to catch a raw shrimp, catch an anchovy, which is going to require 15 fishing. We want to cook a shrimp, and we also want to cook 5 pieces of food in a row without burning them. Plus, you can save that raw rabbit for the end and try to cook that right at the end. So hopefully you won't burn it because we do need to eat this one. Oh, look at me, I got it. Totally don't have 99 cooking, that doesn't matter. So once you've got all of that done, which it is going to take you a couple minutes, but that's fine. Trust the process on this one. I've added in a couple of RNG and time delays, so hopefully people aren't overlapping on this route quite as hard as they would otherwise. But once we've got that done, we can clear out our inventory a little bit. We're hanging on to the big fishing net because we're going to need it later. But all of the shrimp, the rabbit, that can go. We are going to be running ourselves to the west. And again, if you don't have a log on you, definitely make sure to try and chop a tree on your way. There's going to be a couple of them that you pass. And there's also going to be a couple in Auburn Vale, which is where we're headed. Also, while you're on the way, there are going to be more rabbits here. So if you failed to get the rabbits earlier, you can take them out on this path. It's a little unfortunate because this is a pretty serene place, but you got to do what you got to do for the league. There's also going to be some ranges in this path as well, so if you don't have logs to like cook that stuff, don't worry about it right now. You'll have a chance to cook the rabbit later. Now, on our way over, you're looking for a couple of things. We want to admire some beautiful scenery, and we want to step on an entrail. Now, the entrails are going to be these little flowery things. They are going to be kind of random where they're at, but you should see some as you're running into Auburn Vale as the Ents are walking around. So I found some there. Sometimes they appear on this path right here where the Ents walk, And while you're here, you can also admire the beautiful rock for another task. Once that's done, we're coming up to the north. We're dipping into Auburnvale. We're not going to be here very long. There are a couple extra of dead trees just kind of littered around through here. So if you're still missing logs, you can chop any of the stuff that's up here. We are making our way to the sawmill, and we are going to transform one log into a plank. Do be careful. Again, we don't have a lot of money here, so we only need one log for a plank, and that's almost going to wipe out our cash stack. There is also an iron axe spawn on the ground. You probably won't be able to get it just because it's only one spawn, but that would be a nice little woodcutting upgrade for yourself, if you can. Now, we're going to be running back to that bridge that we crossed earlier, and you want to equip the Drayman Staff because we're trying to get our way back over to the fairy ring that's right here. Once we get our way over to the fairy ring, we are going to drink our tea, which is supposed to be done in the valley. I totally didn't drink this earlier. So drink that tea. That should be a task. And then we are going to take the fairy ring, code CKQ. CKQ, we are going to Alderaan. That is going to be a task. Now, this is going to put us right next to the Grape Winery, which also has a task associated to it. So we're going to run a little bit to the south here, and we're going to talk to the vineyard foreman. You're going to ask him if he needs any help, and after a little bit of dialogue, he should give you a grape barrel. Now, the task to fill this thing is a little bit of an annoying one. You need to find 4 sparkling grapes. You can see right here this little twinkle. That means that this one is the one that you want to harvest. There should be 4 of them somewhere, and there's a couple of different patches. So there's the one next to the fairy ring over here. There's this one that I'm standing in, and then there's one down here to the south. They can be literally anywhere, but hopefully you'll be able to find them pretty quick. I think both of mine were over here. Yeah, they are. So I'm going to grab these. If you're struggling to find these, it is okay to skip this one, but this is a 30-point task, so it's definitely worth the extra struggle just looking around to find them. Once you're done with that, the grape barrel should be full. You need to come back over here and talk to the foreman. Say, here's your grapes boss, and he's going to pay you with also grapes, which is horrible. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and drop the grapes. You can get rid of the barrel as well if you want to keep your inventory a little bit cleaner. And we're going to be coming down to the Quetzal. From here, we're taking the Quetzal to Tal Teclin. And once we land here, we want to run over to the range shop, just a little bit to the west. Now, depending on how good you've been with your money, you might be running a little low. We need ourselves 6 iron arrows. If you are running low on money, there's plenty of citizens that you can pickpocket here to get a little bit extra. Pickpocket 5, 6 times, whatever it may be. There's nothing crazy expensive left in our route here. I think the only item we have left to buy is right here. A little bit north, there is a dye shop. We're going to get 1 of the purple dye, which should be 6 coins. And then we need to take our cape off, and we need to dye that one purple. Go ahead and slap that one back on. There we go. That should be a task. From here, we are going to run to the east, and we're going to leave the city. Now, on our way out, we are looking for a tree. It's got to be in the Plotty Rainforest. God, dude, I hate the names in Parlamore, man. I don't know if this tree is going to count. I don't know if this tree is going to count. But as you get out here a little bit further from the city, this should count as the rainforest. If you really need to, you can run all the way over here. There's a bunch of trees just kind of littered throughout. You want to chop one of those for a 10-point task. Once you're done with that, you're going to come back to this boat, and we're going to take this to Kastori. That should also complete a 10-point task for ourselves. And once we're here, we are going to run to the north. You should see this little statue here. And what we're looking for is this little bird perched on a rock. We're going to pet him. That is going to be a task as well. From here, we are wanting to run north, and we are going to find ourselves the gem crab. Now, this is a little RNG for where the gem crab is going to be. So, if you don't see the gem crab here, that's totally fine. You can just come up to the north, and you're going to crawl through this cave. That's going to put you out with wherever the gemstone crab is currently. Now, if you missed the copper and you're at this location, there's a ton of copper rocks, so you can get yourself 1 copper if you have the 10. If you don't have 10, don't worry about that piece. And then we're basically just going to chill here for a little while. This is going to be our next little breather section. We want to equip our bow, which hopefully we didn't bank. I forgot that one in my inventory. If not, you can run to the bank. It's going to be, well, depending on the spot that you're in. I'm in this spot. It's up to the north here in Tal Teclin. Or if you're over here, you can run to the west. Or if you're at this spot, you run a little bit southwest. there is a task for shooting the 6 iron arrows, so whoopsie. Now, once you're done with the arrows there, then it's just a game of training whatever stat you want. Now, for me, I think I'm going to spread it between attack, strength, and defense just to get my combat level up. We've got a couple of goals while we're here. We do want to stick around for at least one full gem crab, because watching him burrow is one of the tasks. We're also going to want to get our first level 30 here if we haven't already, so whether that be on strength, defense, or attack, kind of your call. Strength is probably going to be the best just because you're going to up your damage as you're training that skill. We also want to get ourselves 25 combat, so some combination of those skills should get you there pretty quickly. I don't think you're going to have to be here very long for that one. And lastly, with all of the stuff that we've been doing, you should be hitting your 100 total level milestone, which is going to be another task. Now, once the gem crab burrows, we do want to make sure that we grab some clay while we're out here. Now, depending on which spot you're at, you may have already been at the clay spot. I'm going to go ahead and run to the north here, but we're looking for this gemstone crab spot up here because there's a lot of clay. So let me just cut over there very quick because it'll just depend on where you're standing, but you do want to make sure that you get over there for the clay. Once you're over at this spot, go ahead and mine one of the clay rocks. There are a ton of them. They have a really, really fast respawn time, so this one shouldn't be any problem for you. And because it's been a little while, your home teleport should be back up, so we're going to use that to get ourselves back over to Fortis. Once we've landed in Fortis, we're going to run south, and we are going to talk to that silk trader. Now, for you, it'll have been longer. I don't know if he's actually going to talk to me. Oh, he did. Look at that. We're going to sell ourselves our silk, which should be a task, and then we're going to be running over to the west. On our way here, we want to dip back up towards that water pump. We're going to fill up the bucket there, so that way we can wet our clay. Go ahead and do that. That'll make some soft clay, and then we're making our way over to the pond that's over here. Now, again, this is going to be a little bit of a breather spot. You're just going to use that big fishing net from earlier, and you're going to try and fish a house key, an old boot, and a casket. Now, it shouldn't take you terribly long, but you may be here for a couple of minutes just depending on what your RNG is going to look like. But all of those are going to be tasks, so you do want to make sure to pick them up. Gosh dang, is my RNG bad? Holy cow, I'm 99 fishing. Come on, Spot, don't embarrass me for the video. What are we doing? Hey, there's a house key, let's go. And if it is taking too long for you, you can skip a few of them. At this point in the run, you've surely already unlocked a relic, and you're pretty well deep into the tasks as well. So, like, you don't have to keep going if you've already got what you want, but we have a couple more still left over. So now that we're done at the fishing spot, we're running over here to the east again. We've got a pottery oven right there that we're going to use. There's a task to make something in here, so we've got our soft clay. Because you're level 1, probably going to be a pot. Just kidding, we're starting with the pottery wheel. Still probably going to be a pot, though. They make that one, and then you go ahead and you fire that in the oven. Gosh dang, man, that is slow. Whew, been a while since I've done that. And we're going to run up here to the furnace as well. If we've got our ores, we're going to smelt a bronze bar. That's going to be a task. And also, now that we are super, super strong, we're going to have one more for ourselves. We're going to run past the charter ship up here to the north. And we're going to follow this little path as we come out of this gateway still up to the north. There's a little building here that has some NPCs for us called Thieves. One of the tasks is to defeat a thief. Now, there isn't a ton of them here, so this one may also be pretty well contested. But hopefully at this point, between all of the different time aspects and RNG pieces, there's not a ton of you here. Since there are 3 thieves that spawn, you should hopefully be able to take one out for the final task. Oh, baby, that was quite the run. You made it. You made it to the end of that task list. You should now have 1,120 points, as well as 84 completed tasks, assuming you didn't skip everything, which should mean you've got your Tier 2 relic, you've got yourself karamja, and you're pretty close to your Tier 3, which is going to be your teleport relic. So hopefully that's been helpful for you. If you want that spreadsheet, it's going to be in my Discord in the League's resources channel. So make sure to join that and you'll find it down there. Otherwise, I have a League's progress series, which is probably dropping just about now because we're here. We're at the League. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. And with that, I will catch you in the next one.